What's going on, guys? Zers here. And today, I'm going to open up this video with a story that I've already told on my channel before. But this time I'm going to tell it with a little more detail. So, about 2 years ago, somewhere around 2 years ago, I am a sophomore in high school, right? And this is the first time I have seen my girlfriend since I went to high school. So like the first time I ever saw her, I was in 10th grade and she was younger than me, so she was a freshman. And I had always wanted to talk to her, I just never really had an opportunity to. So we fast forward 2 years since the first time I saw her, and I see that she has gotten older. She has gone through puberty. She looks great. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the first time I saw her again, the only thing I wanted to do was have sex with her. You know, I didn't care about her hopes and dreams. I didn't care about her aspirations. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to do the do, right? Completely honest. But when I first started talking to her, though, like when we actually became friends and I started helping her out with some math that she needed to do and actually having conversations with her, you know, the more I talked to her, the more I realized that this is one very intelligent person. You know, the more I talked, the more awesome of an individual she appeared to be to me. Even though I hadn't hung out with her for a prolonged period of time, you know, the conversations that we had they're inspiring, they were intelligent, she was intelligent, as well as being very attractive. And she was pretty nice when I first met her. Right, so, I got her phone number, and we literally talked to each other like for days. Like the only time we weren't talking to each other was when we went to sleep. We talked to each other for days. It's like the 5th day, right? October 2nd. Good memory I have. She asked me if I like her, and I say, yeah, I like you. So she says, if I asked you out, what would you say? So I replied, my pride would be hurt. So she said, why? I said, because it's my job to ask you out when I'm ready. That's what I said. I said, I'm supposed to ask you out. It's not the way it's supposed to be. When I'm ready, I will ask you out. So she's like, why not now? So I'm like, we don't know each other. I mean, we've been talking to each other for a while now, but I mean, we still need to hang out. We still need to get to know each other better. Well, that did not sit well with her. She did not like the fact that I told her to wait. Not that I said no, just that I said wait. So, I wouldn't say she was, you know, begging, but she was attempting to persuade me otherwise, right? She was like, I mean, look, I really like you. I mean, why do I have to wait? Why can't we just date each other now, right? So she did not just take a wait. Again, not that I rejected her. It's just that I told her to wait, so we got to know each other better. So eventually, you know, after we talked a little while, eventually she wheeled me down, and I figured, well, if I date her now, even though I don't know her pretty well, at least I will get to know her. And well, this is it. I'm done. She'll be the first and last, because I'm done trying to date girls. That's what my mindset was. So I said, okay, here's the deal. I'll be your boyfriend if you be my girlfriend, but you can't tell anyone. And I said that she couldn't tell anyone, not because I was ashamed of her or anything like that. It's just that I wanted her to trust me and come to me when she had a problem. I didn't want her to go talk to her friends about problems in our relationship. Don't worry, I will make a video about my relationship with my girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, in detail. So, this is the preview of that. But, here's the question I pose. The question I want to hang over your guys' head for this video. Who felt entitled? Was it the boy who said maybe we should wait to get to know each other better? Or was it the girl who couldn't wait and acted like a little bit of a spoiled brat when she didn't get what she wanted? Feminists love to say that men feel entitled to women's body as a collective. They say as a collective, men feel entitled to women's bodies, and that if they go out and they're nice to a girl and they treat her nicely, you know, spend money on her, that he's supposed to get sex from it. Feminists love to say that. They love to say no man is entitled to sex, right? completely negating the fact that sex is a requirement for our species. I've said this several times on my channel. In order for the human species to exist, to continue to thrive, we must have sex. We cannot take a someone else will do it approach to sex. Again, here I've used this on my channel before, but I'll use it again in this video. If a phone is ringing in my house, and my younger sister says my older sister will pick up the phone, and my older sister says that I'll pick up the phone, and I say my younger sister will pick up the phone, who picks up the phone? Nobody. We can't look at sex like that, because we won't know who is having sex until one, a baby comes, or two, it's recorded. Can't do it. So it's not even that it is an entitlement, but it is a requirement for our society to continue. That's the first thing. The second thing, it is a biological urge for men and women to want to procreate, to want to have sex, to want to have babies. Anyone that wants to have sex technically wants to have babies. Even if you don't want to raise them, your body technically wants you to reproduce. That's where the sexual urges come from. I'll get into that in another video. So, with it being not only a requirement but a biological urge, why would a feminist ever say that men feel entitled to women's bodies? Because one interesting thing you will find out about this whole entitlement thing is how men spend a great deal of their time trying to prove to women that they're good candidates. Sometimes they do this with money, sometimes they do this with their cars and material things, but sometimes they do it with merit. Now that's interesting. That is interesting, right? So let's talk about that merit that men attempt to use to gain the affection of a woman. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at 3 different examples, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how men somehow feel entitled to women's bodies. Right, so the very first example I'm going to use is Aladdin. The reason why is because feminists love to say that Disney teaches little girls some horrible qualities, some horrible things about what it means to be a woman. So we're going to look at what Disney supposedly teaches boys, right? We're going to look at Aladdin. Now, Aladdin is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, right? So let's review Aladdin's relationship with Jasmine, right? So here's what happens in Aladdin. So the very first thing Aladdin does when he meets Jasmine is he saves her from getting her hand cut off because she tried to give an apple to a little boy. Very first thing he does. So then they hang out, they talk to each other, and they connect with one another, right? Aladdin doesn't try any funny business because remember, this is G-rated, but they're building a relationship with each other based on similar experiences and things they felt, right? So the very first thing Aladdin does is he saves her, and then they connect with each other on an emotional level. So then Aladdin learns that she's a princess, and he learns that the only way that he'll be able to marry this amazing girl he just met was if he became a prince. So this is fast forwarding to when he got caught by the guards, and Jafar tricked him into going into the Cave of Wonders. So he gets the genie in the lamp. So he wishes that he becomes a prince, right? He wishes for 2 things. I forgot what the first thing he wished for was, but he wishes to be a prince. One of his first 2 wishes is to be a prince. So he becomes a prince and he marches into Agrabah, right? And he shows that he has all of these incredible things, right? Because he's Prince Ali Ayobagwa, right? Jasmine's not having it. Jasmine's like, I'm not a prize to be won. You can't just come in here with all of this stuff, these things, and think that I'm just going to fall head over heels for you. So now that Aladdin fits the legal requirement that he's a prince, he still has to prove himself to Jasmine. He still has to prove he's not like all the other princes. So he decides to take on a magic carpet ride across the globe, right? They go to Egypt and China and everywhere, right? They fly all over the place, showing her that this is what he has to offer her. This is why you should marry me. This is why you should be with me. Look at all the amazing things you can experience with me, right? That's what Aladdin does. Again, Aladdin and Jasmine are connecting with one another. So fast forward to Jafar. Jafar becomes the Sultan. He takes the lamp. He becomes a sorcerer. He sends Aladdin to the other side of the planet, right? So Aladdin's beaten. He's defeated. He lost round 1. This is what Aladdin does though. He's no longer a prince. He truly has no obligation to Agrabah. Because remember, he's a street rat, alright? The guards want to kill him. No one really likes him too much. He's a thief, right? So, even still, he still saves Abu. He saves his monkey. He gets the carpet. He flies back to Agrabah to face down Jafar. Now, remember, Jafar is the most powerful sorcerer in the world, right? Aladdin takes on Jafar. He takes Jafar on, right? To fight Jafar. Jafar becomes a giant snake. He fights this giant snake. He saves Jasmine from the hourglass entrapment. He defeats Jafar, not with brawn, but with his mind. Even after Aladdin has done all of this though, he still remembers that he's not a prince. He still remembers that he cannot be married to Jasmine because he's not a prince. He remembers that even after all he's done, he is still not worthy of Jasmine. He still feels that way. And the genie says, you got one more wish, I'll make you a prince again. So, question, how entitled did Aladdin feel when he was saving Jasmine from Jafar? I guess a feminist would say, well, you know, Jasmine was his property, so he was just protecting that which he was owed. But remember, Aladdin is a street rat. He has no claim to property. He's a thief. He has no claim to his own property. Remember, Jasmine is a princess. She cannot be Aladdin's property by the caste system that exists. So that argument feminists would use to describe Aladdin would not work. So how entitled was Aladdin when he was fighting that giant snake that was Jafar? Or when he tricked Jafar into becoming a genie to save all of Agrabah from Jafar's tyrannical rule? You guys decide. So, 2 more examples. The next thing I'm going to do is play you guys a clip of a boy asking a girl out in a very spectacular way, in my opinion. What he did was incredibly awesome. Check it out. So, let's ask ourselves this question. Was he entitled to her when he stood in front of this classroom of what I assume could be strangers or his peers, and he painted a picture of her? How entitled was he when he risked abject humiliation in front of his entire classmates? Now, what right did he have to where he had to feel that in order to earn her respect, that he had to show her how much he liked her? One more. So, one show that I used to watch all the time was Total Drama Island. And I think Total Drama Island reveals the absolute best and the absolute worst of human beings. Now, it's not the greatest cartoon in the world, but I find it to be hilarious. So one of my favorite characters on the show, his name was Cody, right? Brief summary of Cody. Now, Cody likes Gwen, this gothic girl who's on the show with him. And he asks her out constantly. He constantly tries to prove that he is great. Gwen is his dream girl. He's constantly trying to prove to himself, or prove to her, I'm sorry, that they should date each other, that he likes her a lot. So he keeps asking her out over and over again. There's even in one episode where they're playing dodgeball and he jumps in front of her and gets hit in the balls in order to make sure she doesn't get out. So he's trying to protect her, he's being kind to her, he's trying to get her to like him. Now, Cody isn't the most manly man of all characters. Except here's the thing. Cody still does what he has to do. When shit hits the fan, Cody does what he has to do. He may not be the most masculine, the most manly, but he gets the job done when it needs to be done. He was still a valuable player on the team before he got kicked out. Right? So, this is after he's lost, after he's been kicked off the island. This is what he says about Gwen.
Well, I think Gwen should win.
Really? But she rejected you on international TV for someone more cooler, hunkier, and more stylish.
Thanks for pointing that out, Lindsay. Gwen is my dream girl. I'm just not her dream guy. But as long as she's happy, hey, I'm happy. That's right.
So again, let's ask ourselves. Did Cody feel entitled to Gwen when he put her happiness before his own? When he said that he would be happy as long as she was happy? Now, a feminist might say, well, Cody was simply bequeathing his property to another man. Cody was simply saying that he didn't want it anymore. Well, that makes no sense. He specifically said that he is happy as long as Gwen is happy. He never owned Gwen. Remember, he was constantly being rejected by her. He didn't own Gwen to bequeath her to anybody. So that, again, that argument does not work. Now, I know I said I was only going to use 4 examples, but I thought about it for a little while, and I decided that I needed to include this into this video too, right? To paint a much better picture for you guys. So, here's what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to pause the video. Well, it's almost done, but pause the video anyway. Go check out You Never Know by Immortal Technique. Link will be in the description box below. Go check it out, okay? And then we're going to come back and we're going to chat about it for a little bit. So at this point, I'm going to assume that you listen to the song, or that you've already heard the song, right? Now, it's a great song, you know, and if a couple of tears came to your eyes, I will not blame you. You know, I almost cried a couple of times when I listened to the song. It's a phenomenal song. One of the best rap songs ever that doesn't get a great deal of credit, but it's a great song. But let's be honest with ourselves. Did the speaker in this poem feel entitled? Was he entitled to this woman that he loved, this woman that he felt that he couldn't live without, that when he was separated from her, it just hurt his heart, so that he had to go see her again? Was he entitled to her? Remember, this is someone that didn't want to have sex with this girl. He didn't want to have sex. He genuinely enjoyed who she was as a person. He enjoyed being around her. And then she died. Was he entitled? I'll let you guys answer that question. So, hopefully with everything I have said, we come to realize that men do not feel entitled to women's bodies. Let's go back to the story I told at the beginning of this video. My ex-girlfriend, as crazy as she is, you know, was still a girl. She was still attracted to me, the same way I was attracted to her. Question, did she feel entitled to me? Did I feel entitled to her? I can answer that straight up. No. If I did, I wouldn't have told her to wait and hold on, let's get to know each other better. So I personally have never felt like I was required or owed sex from any woman, despite how kind I was to them. But I did always feel like I was owed respect back, despite it. Because I remember my ex-girlfriend told me that she waits 2 weeks to decide whether or not she's going to put effort into a relationship. So we dated for 3 weeks, and then she decided to break up with me. Now, I didn't feel entitled to her. If I felt like I had owned the girl, I would have told her, no, you can't break up with me. Sorry, you can't get out of this. But instead, I let her decide whether or not she wanted to stay with me. And the only thing I felt like I was owed was some loyalty, was her word. Because remember, she told me that she was going to put in effort. She didn't. So I was owed her word, but not her body. And that is completely different. So did I feel entitled to the girl? No. Because if I did, I would not have put in effort to try to get her back to me, or to prove to her that I was awesome, or to tell her how much I cared about her. Because remember, I have a right to her, right? So the answer is no. But no feminist would ever probably talk about something like that. So again, the question. All these guys, including me, did we feel entitled to these women? Of course not. So, that is it for this video. I ask, if you ever see anyone or any feminist or any woman ever say that a man feels entitled to a woman, show them this video. Show them this video that I made. Link it to them. If you ever hear them say men feel entitled, link this to their channel or whatever, so they can see that they are on some other shit. So guys, as always, if you like this video, please go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon.